they're putting leaflets around. They're leaving leaflets. So, for those who don't know, this is common of Israel to leave leaflets telling people to flee. We're going to bomb your area. You have this much time to get out. They've done this before. This is not unheard of. And so here is one of the leaflets that is being left around Gaza. It says, quote, "This is your last chance to run away to Jordan in an organized way. After that, we will kill our enemies and expel you from the Holy Land granted to us by God." Some arguments with that point. You know, when you say granted to you by God, can we talk about that for a second? So Israelis in the West Bank distributing. Oh, so this is in the West Bank, by the way. This is not in Gaza, but distributing leaflets to Palestinians, threatening them of a new, quote, major Nakba and ordering them to escape to Jordan. Now, I wanted to bring to you, because people are talking about how this is a second Nakba in many ways. And I wanted to, oh, by the way, someone mentioned Genocide Joe. Genocide Joe is now trending on Twitter. So, like I said, people are waking up. People are realizing the truth of what's going on right here, realizing that Israel's an apartheid racist state that has been persecuting and imprisoning and killing Palestinians for ages now. And in terms of hostages, yeah, Hamas does have, they estimate 200 hostages. Israel also, we should mention, has 10,000 Palestinian hostages. There are 10,000, and that number has doubled, meaning it was 5,000 before October 7th. So they've doubled that number of hostages just since October 7th of Palestinians that they have grabbed up and put into their prisons as hostages. I mean, are you telling me that Israel just decided all of those 5,000 committed crimes yesterday? I don't think so. But okay, so a lot of people are talking about this being a second Nakba, and I wanted to, rather than just give my, half-assed definition, I wanted to bring you the definition of Nakba, and this is actually coming from Wikipedia. Wikipedia, as many of you know, is an American neoliberal history of the world. However, with certain things, they're kind of forced into revealing what at least some degree of the truth is, because they want to pretend to have information there. The Nakba, which it also means disaster, catastrophe, or cataclysm, also known as the Palestinian catastrophe, was the 1948 displacement of a majority of Palestinian Arabs. The term is used to describe both the events of 1948 as well as the ongoing occupation of Palestinian territories, the West Bank and Gaza, and persecution and displacement of Palestinians throughout the region. So it is not disputed that thousands upon thousands of Palestinians were kicked off their land. What some Israelis might try and argue as well, we deserve to kick them off their land, which is, a pretty difficult argument to make right there. The foundational events, and by the way, for those of you new to my show, if it really matters, and I know to some of you it does, yes, I'm Jewish, and yes, that doesn't change the fact that I've realized the reality of Israel being an apartheid state. You can be both those things. See how that works? Care about truth, yet also be Jewish. And by the way, another point we should throw in here, I discussed it a bunch the other day with Eleanor Goldfield, but there are more Christian Zionists. Zionist means, endorsing the Israeli state, Israeli apartheid state. There are more Christian Zionists in the United States than there are Jews in the world. So a lot of the support of Israel, the majority of the support of Israel, comes from actually non-Jews. The support of this apartheid horrific system. Anyway, to continue on the definition of Nakba, the foundational events of the Nakba took place during and shortly after the 1948 Palestine War, including 78% of mandatory Palestine, that's what it was called at the time, being declared as Israel. So 78% of this state of Palestine, which mandatory Palestine was a geopolitical entity established between 1920 and 1948, and under the terms of the League of Nations. So it was a state, and 78% of it was declared Israel overnight. The expansion and flight of 700,000 Palestinians, the related depopulation and destruction of over 500 Palestinian villages by Israeli armed forces, and subsequent geographical erasure, the denial of the Palestinian right to return, the creation of permanent Palestinian refugees, and the shattering of Palestinian society. That's what the Nakba was. And many are calling this a second Nakba because Israel is using the events of October 7th, the Hamas attack on October 7th, in order to attempt to kick all Palestinians out of Gaza. So to continue on that front, here is more leaked information about Israel's plans. Although, as we see from that flyer that they're distributing, these are not the plans to forcibly remove Palestinians from these lands is pretty out in the open. It says the Sinite solution, reimagining Gaza in the post-Oslo period. On October 24th, a document leaked from Israeli intelligence minister Gila Gamliel detailed that a durable post-war solution for Gaza has to include the transfer of Palestinians to Sinai, Egypt. According to the document obtained by the Israeli Calculist news website, the move would include 3 steps: establishing tent cities in Sinai, creating a humanitarian corridor, and constructing cities in North Sinai for the new refugees. In addition, a sterile zone several kilometers wide would be established in Egypt south of the border with Israel to prevent Palestinians from returning. So does this sound like they're kicking Palestinians off their land again? Yeah, it sounds a lot like that. It sounds a lot like they're bombing the ever-living hell out of Gaza until they get almost all the Palestinians to leave, to go to Egypt and live in freaking tents. And the U.S. is supporting this. The U.S. is helping fund it. You have Joe Biden, who's now being called Genocide Joe, which seems to be trending around the world. He's endorsing this. He says he's endorsing the Israeli propaganda that no one believes anymore. And now leaked documents are showing some of the plans that Israel has going forward, including using banned chemical weapons in the tunnels under Gaza, possibly including using the largest non-nuclear bombs in existence on Gaza, and clearly including pushing Gazans out of the only remaining territory they have while you turn it into a rubble heap. And I've shown many of those videos over and over again of just how destroyed Gaza is now.